Mike the Troop Jackson, back with another edition of Fighters Talk, and today I'm joined by none other than Bekah Irwin. How you feeling today, Bekah?
I'm pretty good.
Good. Good. Well, Bekah, for those who don't know, she just went out to Thailand and competed in the IFMA. What is the actual title of the? I know it's the IFMA, the International Federation of Muay Thai Amateurs.
Yeah, it's the IFMA Youth World Championships.
IFMA Youth World Championships. And you went out there and competed, and you brought back the gold medal to America. Not even just Houston. We did this for America. You fought for your country. What was that experience like going over to Thailand and representing USA?
I actually liked it. Like, you got to experience like a lot of the different like culture that they have and everything. And like when you were fighting, like they had the real music, like they had the band and everything. And it was, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Now, how would you compare it to when you compete here in the States?
It's really different, like the atmosphere. Like 'cause when I went to Kingdom, like the people there, they were like exciting and everything. But there, it's just like completely different because I guess that's where it like originated. So when they do it, it's just like a little bit overwhelming, but not too much.
Now, you went out with it was Team USA, and Michael Corley is the head of the amateur association. How long how long did you have to prepare for this type of tournament and this magnitude?
I think, well, because after Kingdom, Crew Bob, he came up and he told me like, well, if y'all keep doing good, then we have something for y'all in September, October. And I was like, oh, all right, well, that might be another fight. So I knew then, like, I had to, like, get ready and prepare for some stuff. But, like, really, like, a month and a half out, like, right before I started, like, really getting it.
Now, when you're at home, you can sort of prepare for your opponents. You can scout them and kind of see what their flaws are and things that you can exploit. But when you're going into a tournament, a world tournament, you're pretty much facing other girls from different countries. You really don't have much to prepare. You don't have any knowledge on who you'll be facing. How did you prepare for those? Because how many fights did you have total?
I had two.
So you had two fights. How did you prepare going into those fights, knowing that you knew nothing about your opponents?
Well, I prepared myself mentally, really. Like, I knew, like, they were probably going to be strong because it's the Youth World Championship. So they had everybody there that was, like, really, really good. So I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I knew if I just, like, stuck with my game plan, which is, like, to move around, feel them out, and stay long, that I would probably take it. And I knew that when I was fighting Australia, I knew Corley told me. He told me that they were, like, a really good country, and he told me that I was fighting, like, their champion. And I knew that she had TKO'd Thailand before, like, right before me. So I knew that I had to, like, stay long, keep my distance, and, like, feel her out.
Now, you say you fought Australia, and I believe you fought Germany in the finals. Between the two fights, did anything stand out to you that kind of, show that you were fighting on the highest level in your age bracket? Did anything stand out with those two fights compared to when you fought here at home?
The opponents were way more tough, like, because when I went to TBA, the girl, she was good, like, she beat me last time, but I went in there, and, like, I knew what I was doing, so I just, like, kind of ran over her a little bit. I don't want to be rude, but these ones, they were, like, I had to be more technical, I guess, like, technical and powerful, because they weren't just going to sit back and let it happen. They, like, came at me, too, so it was really different.
I also heard that in this particular tournament, not many Americans have brought home gold. I want to say you were the second, correct?
Yeah, I was the second. Third.
How does that make you feel knowing that? I mean, you're making history here. You go into another country, you go into this. I mean, with Muay Thai, it originated in Thailand, a country known for the sport, and you go into their country and you win gold. And again, only the second American to do so. How does that make you feel?
Really, it just shows me that, like, I'm going somewhere with this. Like, I'm gonna have a future in it. Like, I need to keep focusing on it because I know I'm going somewhere with it.
Now, you're still young. Well, how, 15? How long have you been training Muay Thai?
Well, we did jiu-jitsu for 9 years, and then we came here, and we were doing kickboxing when we were over there for the whole time, but it wasn't like this. Like, this is way more intense. We've been doing this for about 2 years now, I want to say. I think so.
Right, it's you and your brother Zach. What was the reason for transitioning from the jiu-jitsu or kickboxing into Muay Thai and being here at Houston Muay Thai?
Well, I always knew like I wanted to do MMA, so I knew I couldn't just have a ground game and no stand-up. And where we were, it was good with our stand-up, but it wasn't. We weren't really progressing with it. That's where we got a lot of our basics from. So we knew we had to transition to something more intense.
And what led you here to Houston Muay Thai?
I think my dad heard about it from a friend. Like, he said, like, oh, y'all should go check this place out. So we came here and we were like, oh, and we liked it. Like, we liked the atmosphere and stuff. So we started training here.
That word of mouth. I mean, that's the best way. That's the best form of advertisement is word of mouth. Telling someone, hey, we got this great gym for you to train at. Now you've been, like you say, you've been here for 2 years. How do you see yourself? How do you feel you've progressed in the time that you spent here training under not only Crew Bob and Michael Corley, but we have some great assistants, and Oliver and Jeremy, all the Paul, those guys. How do you feel you've progressed in the 2 years you've been here under, this excellent instruction?
They've really helped me a lot. Like, I thought I was good where I was, but when I got here, they showed me a lot of the stuff that I needed to sharpen up on, like just how I turn my body and like how I need to turn over my punches and just being more technical. And like Joseph and Oliver and Jeremy, like they all helped me out on all that stuff, including Corley and Bob, and just all that stuff. It's really helped like a lot.
There you go. So tell us about your experience in Thailand outside of the fighting, because you went out there, and what I heard, you went out there to compete. What weight did you originally plan on competing at?
The weight I originally planned on was 118, 119, but when I got there, I dropped like 7 pounds. And I weighed like 113, and I was like, oh my God. And so Corley, he moved me down a weight class, and I'm like really thankful for that because it was really stressing me out.
What was the stressful part about that?
Because it was like, I knew the girls were going to be bigger than me if they were cutting from like 125, 130 all the way down to 119. So I knew I was going to be really small because I wasn't cutting any weight.
Okay. So what the weight you were originally fighting at was?
118.
And then what did you end up competing at?
51 kilos, so I think that's like 112, 113.
Okay. So at any point did you, I know you say you don't cut weight, did you have any plans to drop down, or it just kind of happened working out and sweating?
Yeah, I really didn't plan on it. I thought I was going to stay where I was, but when I got there, we were running like, I think it was 5 miles a day. We were running a lot. And then when we went to the gym where we trained at, we trained there for like 2 days, but that was like the hardest I've ever trained. Like how they train is really intense. Like they do a lot of cardio, and I was like drenched in sweat. So I think that was a big part of it.
Now, we have a lot of guys, in not only here at the gym, but in Houston itself, that go out to Thailand and train and things like that. How do you feel the training difference between, being in Thailand and not only just our gym here at Houston Muay Thai, but just Muay Thai in Texas or Houston or whatever? How do you feel the training itself, are they different?
It's more like traditional, I guess. Here everybody has their own style and they like move around and stuff, but they do that hand thing where they like bounce their hands more and they like leg raise a lot, and it's like, I don't know, it's just really different. I mean, I like it though. It's fun.
Do you feel, or did you out there while you were training, did you learn anything that you maybe added to your arsenal or brought back, anything like that?
I did. When we were clinching a lot. So when we were doing that, they showed me a lot of sweeps that I got easier than the ones that I get here because, I don't know, I guess it's just how they taught it. It was really easy, yeah.
See, you go into another country and you learn something. You just go over there and compete, and that's part of the process. Outside of fighting, how did you enjoy the country?
I liked it. There was a lot of different types of people there, and they were really nice too. Like they were really, they'll like give you food and stuff. The food was really good. The street food, it was good.
That's actually the reason I want to go to Thailand. I mean, training is that's definitely on my list, but I'm a foodie. I like to eat. So, being in the tournament, you had individuals from all over the world, and you said people were nice. Was that a reception you got from all the countries, or was someone that was kind of a little too standoffish for you?
I remember Vietnam and Turkey. They were really nice. Like they were really cool. Like they pulled me over to take pictures and everything. But Germany, when I fought the chick, she was real like aggressive. Like she wasn't polite.
That's Germany. I mean, they're kind of aggressive culture and kind of angry sometimes. So going into the finals, you want to say that the first fight was against Australia. You win that fight, and now you're going against Germany. What was the mindset going into the finals, and was there any pressure going into that fight?
There was a little bit of pressure. I didn't let it get to me that much, but I knew like I had flown all the way from here, like a 15-hour flight, and I wasn't ready to get silver. Like I wasn't gonna come there just to get silver. So I knew that I could and I would. So.
Now tell us about the fight because I heard you were just throwing hella elbows in that fight. Walk us through the fight for it.
Well, we started off and everything was going good. Like I was doing my game plan and stuff, and I was staying long. My leg was hurt a little bit, so I wasn't throwing as much kicks as I wanted to, but I was doing pretty good. And then the first time we clinched, the ref had broke us, but she wouldn't let go, so she elbowed me in the face. And so when we broke, I kind of nudged her in the face a little bit, and I was like, okay, really? And so after that, we kept going and stuff, and I was throwing a lot of elbows. Like, the elbows were really good in that fight, I think. Those were probably my best ones ever.
I saw the highlights, and I must say I was very impressed. You looked calm, you looked composed, especially at this age and at that level. Some people can't handle that. You know, maybe you've never competed at that level before. You've always competed at a local level. So some people, they just can't handle that pressure, but you seem to have handled it very well and got gold. If you're not first, you're last. That's the saying from Ricky Bobby. You did it went to a decision, right? Now, were you sure after the fight was over? Were you sure that you had won, or was there kind of little doubts in your mind?
The first round, I wasn't sure if I got the first round or not because I went back to my corner. They were like, you need to kick more. I don't know if you got that round or not. I was like, oh, okay. So I got a little nervous about that. But the second round, I knew I picked it up. And I knew I like gotten that round. And then the third round, too, I felt that way. So I think I knew I got it.
They announced you as the winner, and you're bringing back gold. What was the first thought in your head?
Really just kind of like disbelief, because I only have 5 fights now, and I had like 4 coming into it. No, I have 6 fights actually. I only had 4 fights coming into it, and I was a little stressed out about that. But knowing like that I just beat them, and they have like 50-something fights, it's like it's overwhelming. Yeah.
Now, knowing that you going into the tournament, you've only had 4 fights, knowing that your competition has, like you said, 50 fights. Now that you've won gold, how do you feel about that? Like, what does that make you, think about, the level of training you're at compared to, other girls in the world? And, what's next for you?
I don't know. I know it gives me a lot more confidence because if I just beat them in the fashion that I did, I know I can beat a lot more people, like, right now. And I know where I'm training at. I'm just going to get better because this is a really good spot to train.
And so I know you said that you're really enjoying this, but what do you see in the future for you in Muay Thai?
Just as many fights as I can get right now because I want to progress. And once I get to the stage, I'm going to start working on my ground game too. So hopefully like legacy and stuff, then possibly the UFC.
So Muay Thai you is not just the end game here. So you do have aspirations of competing in MMA. And like you just said, legacy and the UFCs. And I mean, you're young. You're 15. And with the striking, background, and again, you say you've done jiu-jitsu for 9 years, it only seems like the future is so bright for you. Do you agree?
I think so, yeah, because if I mix the striking game that I'm getting now and I'm going to stay here, so it's just going to get better with the ground game that I have, that's going to get better too. So I think it'll be good.
There you have it. Bekah Irwin. She's a phenom and only 15 years old. Now, do you have any social media presence? You on anything?
Instagram and Snapchat.
Instagram and Snapchat. What can we find you on Instagram and Snapchat?
Instagram is Bekah with 2 H's, BEKAHH_17. And Snapchat is the same thing, but only at 16.
There you have it. Make sure you check out Bekah on her social media. Follow along for her journey in the world of fighting. Thank you for taking the time out. I appreciate it.